Hello, hello, hello. Hey friends, Baba Brooks here. If you're here watching this replay, thank you so much for stopping by. Like I said, Svava Brooks, I'm a trauma recovery coach. I love to hang out here most weeks, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I am hanging out with fellow survivor thrivers as we walk and work and talk and laugh and cry our way through my book, Releasing Your Authentic Self. So I hope you come and join our conversation sometime. And if you're looking for support or have questions about the healing journey, we are here and we'll welcome you with open arms. If you're curious to learn more about me, please visit my website, svavabrooks.com. You're also always welcome to join us live, of course. Hey friends, if you're here right now, please say hello. Please let me know that you're here. Like to welcome you and celebrate you. And just to anyone that is popping in, you do not have to be in the group or own the book or be a part of that work in some way. We welcome you. We invite you to join the conversation. And like I often say, there's so much wisdom in this place. If I don't know the answer that you're seeking, I know as a collective here, we have lots of good information. And if nothing else, our hearts are in the right place. So, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. And here is the birthday queen, Lady Leo. Hey friend, how are you doing? How's your birthday going? I hope your family is celebrating you. Celebrating your birth, celebrating your journey, celebrating your heart and your spirit. What are you up to today? We are so blessed that even on your very special day, you choose to come here. I know, for just a few minutes maybe, but it's so good. That's right, Rob. We ducking love you. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob, for your sweet note there earlier. So while we wait for our friends, I'm gonna sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You singing with me, guys, right? Happy birthday, dear Lady Leo. Happy birthday to you and many more. Yay! Hey, Sue. Hey, friend. So glad to see you. Glad that you're here. You're welcome, Lady Leo. You're welcome. So let's start with the check-in. What's new and good? What's new and good? I was thinking today, after our last time together, this could go either way today. We were all over the map last time we met. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you doing, my friend? How are you? Good to see you. So let's do a round of check-in. How are we doing? How are we doing? This week for me personally went by like this. Went by really fast. It's hard to believe that I was just like, is it Tuesday or is it Thursday? I had to look at my calendar a few times today, so. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll send Sue S our love back. Send our love back to her. Thank her for all the things that she's doing. Sue says rough start to the week, but getting better. That's good. Like one day at a time right now. We're using all the tools and maybe coming up with some new tools, right? I'm meditating. I'm exercising a little bit. Yes, I am. Trying to get outdoors a little bit, making sure I'm drinking lots of water. Cheers. I'm doing my Reiki, making sure I'm eating my greens. I started juicing a little bit, just feeling a little sluggish. So I'm like, okay, we're going to do some little celery juice first thing in the morning for a few days. And what else? Yep, TRE I'm doing. And then, of course, I told you guys the last thing I've added to my self-care is doing some art and doodles. And it is bringing me so much joy. So much joy. Is this still hot with me? Let's see. What's the temperature right now? It's been consistently warm, but it's not as hot today. At least it's not. It's 80 right now, which is nice. It's going to drop down to 75 tomorrow, which is nice. Yeah, we're going to stay in the low 80s over the weekend. Yes, I can manage that. I can manage that. So I'm good. I'm good. Elizabeth got tired. Probably I won't stay up late today. All right. Well, we're glad you're here. I know it's late for you guys. I know it's late for you guys, but I'm also curious, Rob, how are you doing? Are you back home? Are you still traveling? Are you still camping in Wales? Hey, Lynn. No hating on my juice, Rob. No hating on my celery juice. It does not taste, I know, it does not taste very good the first few times. I try to add a little bit of lemon and ginger in it. And and what I was going to say, that takes the flavor, the dirt flavor out of it. So that's right, Lynn. I know art is fun, totally fun. I've just like, yep, I've stocked up on some art supplies. I'm going through them fast, so I'm like, I need a budget here. So it's been good for me. It's been good for me during these challenging times. So now I'm looking for my fellow artists to share some art with. And yes, exactly, Lynn. The creation process, exactly. And I stumbled upon this course. I know I keep telling you guys every time. And a friend of mine is she's an art therapist and a yoga teacher and an artist herself. And doing, yes, you did, Lynn. It's beautiful. I love it. And what was I going to say? She's doing this online, like painting or creating from the heart. And how perfect, right? Another thing that makes me heart sing, and another thing I get to use to get in touch with my creativity. So it's been fun. You are back and in charge of cooking and shopping. All right, Rob. Well, I'm glad you're home. I was wondering, and keep us posted on how the cooking is going. How many are you cooking for in your family? Yes, she does. It's she has her own, this is her own creation, but there's a lot of meditation in there, and you know, um, just she's made some really wonderful suggestions. So just so I show you guys before we start here to dig deep. Now, every morning she has us do a doodle, no pressure, of course, but she's big about in mandalas, do mandalas. And see, the thing is also all of this is in Icelandic, which also makes me happy because it's also inspiring me to write. And the painting also creates and sparks some writing, and it's all coming through in Icelandic, and I'm just kind of finding it interesting to see the words that are coming out in Icelandic. So a couple of past mornings doodles. This is what I did this morning with my morning coffee. Just a little watercolor, playing with it, just seeing what comes through. This is what I did yesterday. Very, very kind of, I just draw something and just see what comes. And then this is the one the day before that. So all very different, but they all come through with some messages for me. It's interesting when you relax doing the art. Yeah, exactly. It's very simple, but it definitely taps into something. And actually, the final project is, and I'm, you know, I love like the outside the line art. It's not going to look picture perfect. But this weekend we were supposed to get a canvas, a bigger size, and to do like a final piece, like a joyful piece. And so that's what my assignment is for this weekend. And I started on it last night, and because I'm doing layers. So maybe when it's done, I'll share it with you guys. But it's like my little girl, my inner child, she just comes alive. She just is so excited about this. So maybe you can tell I'm excited about it. So definitely. So thank you, Elizabeth. You can't draw a straight line with it. Well, that's me, Wanda. See, these are not straight lines. They are all crooked lines. There's no pressure. And she's been having us do stuff with our left hand, and it's amazing. Yes, exactly. And doing stuff with the left hand, since it's not my dominant hand, it actually turns off our inner critic. It's like your inner critic knows that this isn't where you're trying to do it perfectly. This is just you goofing around, and it's like, whatever. So doing stuff with the left has been very interesting. I've done some of the self-portraits with my left hand. Very simple, nothing fancy. So yes, that's right, Rob. Liz and I have bonded over some watercolors. She sent me a screenshot this morning of something she was doing yesterday, and I sent her a Snapchat of what I was working on. So absolutely, we're having fun with it. She is an amazing artist. So yes, and Elizabeth, you're an artist too. So right? And that's the thing, Lady Leo. I've noticed that anxious part of me that comes up because I thought it had to be something perfect. But once I realized the intention was to just to have fun, and I didn't even have to share it with anyone. There was no pressure. I just started doodling, and it's like gotten easier. The more I do it, the easier it gets. So it's like with anything else. The more we do it, the easier it gets. So Are we ready? Topic of today. You got some compliments after painting your room? There you go. There you go. I almost get into meditation coloring. Yes, definitely. You get out of the left side of your brain when you're doing something creative like that. You come into the right side of the brain, and it's an open space. There's freedom there, right? The left brain is the meaning. What about us? What about then? What about us? What about then? What if, right? But when you go into the creative part, right? Yes. You're an art appreciator. Yes. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore in this moment, but it's definitely something shifted inside of me in just these few weeks that I've been doing art. It was just like something like something woke up. So anyways, I can see I'm going to continue on this journey. So we'll see where it goes. Okay. All right. Of course, Lady Leo. So let's get to it. Let's get to it, my friends. The topic of today: to survive childhood trauma. We bend ourselves into pretzels, right? Becoming someone we are not, right? It's one of the ways to stay safe in a dangerous home environment. The new identity we create is the story we tell ourselves. The story is what kept us safe, right? We didn't have a choice as children. We needed these people, right? We wanted to get as far away from them as possible, many of us, but yet we needed them and we were drawn to them. It was hard, pull, push, hard, pull, push. No wonder many of us feel like we are living in bodies that are constantly doing this. We are pulled towards something and then we're repelled away from it. We are being pulled towards it and then we push away from it. That's what we did growing up. And then the stories that we end up creating, right? This is a toxic coping strategy. The stories that we made up about ourselves as children and the identities that we created to stay connected, to get our needs met. So now as we are an adult here, right? We are reevaluating and revisiting, because this is the reason why many of us lost touch with our authentic self. We have no idea who we really are, right? We are not this, right? Or the hiding, or the fighting, or the protecting, or the being aloof, or whatever role we took. The Little Miss Perfect, the people pleasing, right? The controller, or the safety enforcer, or the rule breaker. So the two questions that I asked in our group today: what was one role you played as a way to stay safe growing up in your family? And how has this particular role or identity gotten in the way of your adult life? So scrolling down here, Lady Leo, the birthday queen, has given me permission to share with you. She says here, I was the queen of not being seen. I made it a point at the age of 13 that if I was not in the house, then the adults would not be stressed. She goes on to say, as far as my adult life being affected, I adopted the belief that I am a burden and it's better if I don't bother others. So, my friends, can we validate Lady Leo? Right? Who else here chose to stay out of the house? I'm going to hide so well. You can't see me. You can't find me. When you were a kid, yep. Yes. Heard. Yes, you can relate. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. You are not alone. And then we grow up. So many of us, I made a comment on your comment there in the group, Lady Leo, and basically was like, yeah, that I'm not going to be a burden, right? Felt like a burden my whole life, right? It had to be. There's a reason why I'm being treated like shit, right? That it has to be that I'm a burden. No one cares. So that continued for such a long time. But now, you are not a burden, my friend. And it's our job as an adult to reparent the part of us that thinks that, right? The part of us that keeps bringing it up, who keeps like, well, remember, well, maybe it is because, right? Who keeps bringing up that story from the past because it lives in those files. So when it kept is brought back up, then you have to, then we, I say have to, what helps and supports us in healing this is that we can lean in with delight. Okay, with kindness and say, hey, sweet girl, I understand why you felt that way. I understand why you felt that way and why you felt that way for a long time. And I understand why we can still feel that way. But I am here now to tell you, to remind you, right? You are not a burden to me. You are my primary relationship. You're my most important relationship. And my job is to ensure that you don't feel that you are a burden, because you're not. Because here's the thing too, my friends, right? When we hide any parts of ourselves, right? Any part, especially our wounded inner child, they also hold the gold. They also hold the treasure, the spark, the joy. It's in there, right? She doesn't want to risk being seen. She's not going to bring out her joy for life or creativity, writing, drawing, painting, dancing, singing, right? It's her. If I'm a burden, I can't bring that out. I have to hide it. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So thank you so much, Lady Leo, for sharing that with us. You are not alone. And I see you, and I hear you, and I celebrate you, because you are coming out of hiding. Kicking and screaming. I talked to someone else today who talked about this, doing this, kicking and screaming, kicking and screaming. Yeah, we are going to throw tantrums until we are out, until we are like, ah. But I know it's not always easy. Hey, Minnie. Hey, Michelle. Good to see you. Let's see here. Above that, let's see. Elizabeth also commented. Let me catch up with you guys. I realized I was not a burden, but my caregivers are the type of being overwhelmed by life in general. Yep, I hear you. Many of our parents did the best they could, but unfortunately, it didn't mean that we didn't deserve to have our needs met and to be seen and heard and validated. Right? And to be supported in a way that, you know, we trusted that we were good enough, way more than good enough, that we were lovable and that we were going to be okay. Because I think that's what most of us just wanted, right? Just see me, just hear me, just validate me. Most of us aren't looking for, we want time with our caregivers. So let's see here. And so thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing that. Appreciate that, my friend. Lynn said, when I was a kid, you couldn't crack me. I wouldn't let anyone see me cry. Tears were weakness and vulnerability, easily exploited. I turned off actually feeling what I was living. Yes, you're in good company, friend. I hear you. And that's the hard part of healing, right? That's the hardest part about healing. It's like, okay, I've been avoiding feeling anything because if I can't feel, you know, no one wants to see my feelings, I'm not going to show them, right? But when we repress the hard feelings, then we also repressed the joy, the love. And we are working our way through some of the hard feelings to find what's underneath it, because these come as a package deal, as you've heard me say. Let's see, you guys, there's a lot of chat going on here. I'm trying to keep up with you. Minnie says, I suppose that I hid, I stayed quiet and tried not to be noticed. As an adult, I do the same, and it has made it so difficult for me to comfortably socialize and relax. So yeah, I can relate with Wanda. Yes, I hear you, Minnie. I hear you. And it stays with us for a long time. It stays with us for a long time. That voice can still come up for me when I enter a new space or new group or something. It's like this old voice, you know, well, they may not like you. Well, you may not fit in here. Are you sure you belong here? Are you sure you're going to speak or say something, right? And then after a while, I'm like a friend. Hey, I know why you're here. I know you're looking out for me, but I got this. I got this, okay? Thank you. You can go sit in the bus in the back. I'm driving. Loving but kind. Speaking to the part who thinks it's better to hide. And help that part see she's safe here. I'm not going to put her out in the open. I'm not here to expose her. But as an adult, I'm re-engaging with the adult world. All right, Lady Leo, go celebrate. Go celebrate your birthday. Woohoo! We love you. So glad to have you with us. I hear you, Lynn. I hear you. Feelings are hard. It is hard. But be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself as you are learning to feel the feels, to feel the feelings. So thank you to Wanda, our friend. Let's see here. Donna says today, I have the feeling Donna's listening. So glad you're here with us, Donna. Thank you for this beautiful share. Donna's comments today. What was the one role I played as a way to stay safe growing up in my family? I played the conciliator, yes. I was both nothing and something. In a childish way, I took on the job of making peace at all costs in my angry household. So, my friends, as I read through Donna's share, please feel free to chime in if you guys can relate. Let's give a lot of validation here, okay? That was a little side note. She goes on to say, that meant becoming whatever the other person needed. Clown, I got that. Star, I'll shine. Confident, confidant, I'm listening. Kicking post, I'll take it. The toleration of physical abuse was simply an extension of my nothingness. The way this has gotten in the way of my adult life is that I've mostly been a reactor of events, not a creator of my own life choices. I've put up with disrespect, boundary annihilation, manipulation, invalidation, boundary annihilation, manipulation, invalidation, and neglect in all my personal and work relationships. I've filled my life with empty connections, including the one with my own child. I thought it was normal to crave and run from any physical or emotional connection. I've discovered that's not living. I am not a human being in this world. It is only now that I've begun the very painful process of uncovering the skeleton of my personhood. I'm trying to unearth pieces of myself, not someone else. When feeling safe and going slow, every once in a while, I've been able to examine those found pieces and decide if and where they belong. I am very much a human under construction. Hey, my friend Donna, thank you so much. Thank you so, so much for sharing with us. Like I posted in our group, it breaks my heart to hear how you were treated and how you've been treated. And I celebrate your courage in writing this out and sharing this with us because there's so much clarity. Yes, Donna puts into words things I've experienced, but I couldn't vocalize or hadn't even realized. Yes. Yes. Such clarity. Yes. The group is right here with you. And so just like you said, and Sharon says here as well, I've always thought of myself as a human doing and not a human being. Hey, Sharon, thank you. I'm so glad you're here with us. So glad you're here with us. Because when we write things out like this, right? When we write things out, right, Len? You wrote it in 25 pages. Yes, when we write it out and when we manage to put it into words to speak it, we can make sense of it. We can make sense of it. And I'm so sorry, right? That you did not, get your needs met by your caregivers and they hurt you. And so our bodies become textbook examples of adults that grew up in toxic childhood environments. Like our families were toxic. And I just want to put this out there, right, friends, if you are feeling a little anxious about some of the things that I'm saying right now, please, please, please be gentle with yourself. I know I'm very direct about this. Very direct about this. But I think it helps all of us to talk about it, to make sense of it, to understand why we do this. And just like so many of you have said, and we are the doing. We become a doing being, not a doing human, not a being, human being. The words are getting twisted up in my mind today. It is because our nervous system is constantly revved up and because there's so much pain and anguish and discomfort in this body that it's constantly trying to move. It's trying to move the energy. It's trying to move the hurt. It's trying to understand. So much of our responses is because of our nervous system. Right? So when we understand, this body is just doing what it knows how to do and what it's been training to do for so long. And so as we gain this awareness, right, we understand how our bodies work and what this kind of tension and trauma does to our bodies and our beliefs about ourselves and how we think about ourselves and how we see ourselves and the world. Then we can start to question some of those things. And in the safety of people that are doing the same thing, we can start like, I wonder. And then we can start to take our power back from feeling powerless, from being powerless. You were powerless then. But as you learn now to support your body, to kind of start to become aware of those thoughts, so we can drill down into the beliefs, because it's those beliefs, right, that drive us, that in our subconscious. Good night, Elizabeth. Thanks for being here with us. Take good care, my friend. So thank you, Donna. We got your back. We believe in you. Right? And you are not alone. Not alone. Let's see, I'm scrolling down here. Rob, I don't see, can I share? Just if you can give me a thumbs up. And in the meantime, I'm gonna scroll down here to Sue P. Sue P shares with us, I was supposed to be a good girl In fact, my parents had expected me to be a perfect child, well behaved, well mannered, intelligent, accomplished, and generally a credit to them. But somehow it didn't turn out that way. And however hard I tried, I was never good enough. It was always, couldn't you just have been something more? I so longed to be told that I was a good girl and to be loved and accepted for who I was, but it never happened. And as a result, I became a perfectionist, and nothing was ever good enough for me either. So I lived life constantly stressed and overworked and never satisfied. I couldn't accept myself, let alone believe I was loved and accepted by anyone else. Now I recognize that perfection isn't required, and in fact is not even possible. And I'm learning to accept myself just as I am. Learning to love and to know myself loved is still work in progress. I hear you, Sue. I hear you. I am so sorry. What a pressure to put on a precious little girl to be perfect, right? To be there, to be an extension of your parents, to make them look good and feel good. I'm so sorry. So sorry. And yeah, and just as you say here, as a result, right, that becomes our being. We think that's it. Trying to be perfect or become perfect. Then we set ourselves up. Nothing's ever good enough because we don't feel good enough. And you are doing a beautiful job, Sue. You are doing a beautiful job. I celebrate you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, thanks, Rob. We're down to 5, right? Let's see here. Rob said to us, Rob shared with us today. He says, yep, love this question. It's one that when I first pondered, it shook me hard and deep because it made me see that the foundation I built me upon were not really me. Boom. The walls came tumbling down for real. So I, like most here, either hid or learned to be a chameleon and match moods to be what people wanted. Then I embraced failure as a fail-safe way to make people leave me alone. Yeah. Yep. That becomes a part of our identity, right? No one else expects anything from me. Why bother? Right? So thank you so much, Rob. for sharing. I really appreciate it. And just like I shared, when I first, had this aha moment, that I was not at all who I thought I was. Like all the doing, right? I had done a lot, but it was all in service of survival, right? It wasn't really what I wanted. I had no idea at that point what I felt or what I wanted, what I was hoping for. And I can see now it was like just this strive to connect with people. That's what we're driven to do, my friends. We're driven to connect. And when we don't get those connection needs met as children, there is a deep unmet need that we are just, ugh. That's right. If we expect to fail or we are expected to fail, nobody gets disappointed. Yeah. Yeah. And then it's like that's the story that we become invested in kind of keeping, right? So it's hard. It is hard to make that shift. It is definitely hard. But as we know and are learning, not that it makes it easier, but what we're learning from science is we can change. Hey, Denise. Hey, friend. Glad you're here. Is that, we become who we were because of our environment, right? Exposure. And as we are moving ourselves, shifting our, where we put ourselves, what we're exposed to, then we are changing, right? Epigenetics, right? We can change, and we are making those changes. And we can have our feelings about it. It's important we have our feelings about it, right? We can't skip over that part. Nope. That stuff needs to come out, The hurt needs to come out. And as we release that, let that go, we are creating more space for love and kindness and compassion. Rob says here, and I can't. Yes, I hear you. I hear you, friend. Well, I'm glad you're here with us, Rob. I'm glad you're here with us. Glad you're here with us. Well, sweet friends, this is not always an easy topic, but one that is important for us to understand and to see, right, that these identities and these roles, yep, we are because of our experiences, that you know, some of those roles, you know, served us well, and there's still parts of them that we enjoy and like and want to keep. But there may be some things that we are like, no, I'm going to change that. I'm going to shift that. I'm going to choose like who I know, like my truth, what and who I know myself to be. Thank you, Sue. Exactly. Healing is the bigger achievement. Yes. And I have heard from people with PhDs not so long ago that told me personally, healing is harder than medical school. So, my friends, we are doing the hard work. And this is the work that matters. This is the work that matters. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I think I've told you guys, I was once asked to listen in on a session where PhDs were, I mean, and not to say research isn't important. It is important, but I was listening to these people talking about research, and it was so clear to me that most of those people had never like sat in a room with one of their subjects, maybe past asking them questions, but really, right, processing with them, being there with them, supporting them. And it was kind of an eye-opening experience for sure. So, but all of you guys here, I celebrate you. I hear you. I see you. I feel you. I know some days we have to make the choice daily, hourly. Like, am I really going to continue here to do this? But in the end, it is worth it. You are worth it, right? Because you are not just here to do stuff, right? You are here to be. You are here to be. And part of that is, right, being in this body, being comfortable with these beautiful bodies that we all have. These bodies are amazing. You guys, you are all miracles. Yes, you are. And this is how you walk into the life as a change agent. Because when you go out there standing in your truth, you change the people around you. So, Lynn, I totally get it. I totally get it. But what I have a challenge, what I'm challenged with is when people that only do research, right? Research are training practitioners to go work with people that have never worked with people. You know what I mean? That's the challenge. So, and I've seen and hear about it all the time, that it does more harm than good. Yes, trauma, use trauma to become a change agent, because that's it. That's what actually happens to humans. I know you guys all have experienced it on your own skin. That when you figure something out, you're like something like, oh my God, I figured it out. Something's changing. You can't help but want to pass that on to your fellow human that you maybe recognize may be struggling with the same thing. That is how we all become part of the change, the ripple. And that's my agenda. That's why I'm here, guys. Inspire you all to pay it forward. That's it. That's it. All right. I actually drew 2 cards today, but I forgot to share it with Lady Leo before she left. But I'm going to start with the card that I drew for her. One day she woke up and decided to be happy. That was for Lady Leo. How appropriate on her happy birthday. That's right, Sue. I keep thinking about you, my friend. Your hard work is starting to affect your family. Yes, it does. And that's the thing, even though your kids have moved on, you can't parent them anymore, your healing affects them. They may never know, but your healing is helping them. You're lifting them up. They are starting on your shoulders. And the other card for us today, one day she woke up and decided to believe. So, my friends, here we go. That's our reminder into this weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you, sweet friends. As always, you make my heart sing. I'm grateful for each and every one of you and for you showing up here for the love and to support each other. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take really good care this weekend. Do something that sparks joy. Find some peace, rest, get out in nature. Yes, shout out to some of our friends. Thank you, Rob, Rachel, we missed you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, sweet friends. Check in over the weekend if you can. There's always somebody online. So GMTA, don't know what that stands for. All right, lovelies. See you next time.